Hi, my name is Jean. So think back when you were a child, when you were 6, 7, or 8, and you've always been asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? What did you say?
Firefighter.
Firefighter?
Baseball player.
Baseball player?
Yeah,
Princess? Okay. So those are all... So why are we not doing what we wanted to be? Why are we in communication? Or why are we doing accounting and not being a baseball player or a singer? My dream was to be a singer, but I don't have the hidden talent to be on American Idol and become a singer. We become rational and we find what's more ideal to our future. And I feel like that's part of growing up. The purpose of this presentation is to tell you my experience about how I feel I actually grew up to become who I am today, and I'm still growing. And hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll reflect back and figure out how you're growing as yourself by focusing on school, building credentials, your professional experience, and networking. So when I was a child and growing up, my family has always been so strict on me, even my brother, my aunts, but mostly my parents. They expected so much academic excellence. They would say, no way, you always have to get an A. And I felt rebellious and got a C's every once in a while, and that was unheard of in my family. They were so angry, and I realized that they weren't stressing school, they were stressing how important getting an education is. So in SurveyMonkey, I asked most of you, what kind of skills have you acquired, or how are you acquiring the skills you need for your career goal? And most of you said college, just one word, college. So is ASU what's giving you your skills, or is it the courses you're taking, the public speaking course you chose for your communication major? And focusing on school or your education is what I found really important to start growing up. So then, aside from my parents, I had my brother. He was so strict on me. He'd always tell me to get a job, and I thought it was because he wanted to take my money or something, or he would sign me up to volunteer with him at homeless shelters, and I couldn't say no to that, then I wouldn't be a kind person. So I started to volunteer. I got a job at TJ Maxx for a year, and I realized I'm so happy he did all that because I built work experience, I built volunteer experience. I have my resume in the back there, and education has only filled the first 3 lines. The rest are my professional experience and my work experience. This past semester, I taught WPC 101, which is a success course all business freshmen are required to take. I taught 19 students once a week for 15 weeks. So I don't know why I'm nervous up here. And also, I figured out that building your professional experience is what really helps me access those skills that I learned, that I was educated in, into building who I am, selling myself for who I am. And finally, my parents and my brother, out of nowhere, just stopped nagging on me, stopped stressing. My parents have been taking care of my cousin who's from Korea. My brother went to California to work at General Mills at a plant. And I had no guidance. I was so lost. I never felt free. I wanted them to be back and write my resume for me, write my cover letter. I just had nobody there. And so I figured out, what can I do to get to that next step of growing up? I realized to get to my career goal, I needed to do an internship. As a sophomore, so I joined Chi Omega to network. In December, there was a girl in my sorority who was a recruiter for Target. She was recruiting for executive team leaders. So I applied for that without thinking much of it. There was 5 interviews. She was so helpful. She is the reason I got that internship. In the back, I also have a job offer that I received from Target. And I realized that it really is who you know, and not versus what you know. It's both. It really is both. And that's how I figured out that step. Sure, my parents took me to that start line, but from there, I'm walking to my finish line. So I just wanted to say that you should definitely remember how you're growing up. This is your future. In SurveyMonkey, I asked, what's your career goal? A lot of you said nurse or video broadcast. I'd ask, so how do you plan to get there? You'd say, oh, or where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? A lot of you said at a TV broadcast station. But what broadcast station? Or a retail company, what retail company? This is your future, you're creating it. You should definitely be looking into that, finding who you are, and like I said, focus on your education, build your credentials, and network.